Hi, welcome to another reading with Josh here. This is Tarot with Josh. My name is Josh, of course, and this is going to be another pick a card reading. So we have three cards here to decide from. Before we get into all that, I do want to say that these are collective readings, so not everything's going to resonate with everyone. So just take what resonates and leave the rest. And don't let these readings take from you, okay? Again, like if it really feels like this just isn't making sense, and maybe you can go and check out another reading, or you can just go and watch another video, do something else with your day, whatever you'd like to do, okay? You're not stuck here, all right? Cool. So let's just go ahead and jump in. We're gonna just kind of see what messages want to come out for each pile here. Don't got anything particular we're gonna do today. Just gonna go with the flow and see how it goes. So. Very cool. So for pile number one, we're going to be to pick our piles. Excuse me. We're going to use this crystal healing uh, deck to decide what piles we're going to have today. So each of these cards do have a different crystal on there that you can kind of use to see if you're drawn to it or whatever. There it also has a chakra that it's in alignment with, so you can either pick off based off of the chakra, or you can pick based off of the crystal itself. So for pile number one here, we have the Earth chakra with the Tektite crystal. Try and give you as good of a view of that as I can with my setup. There you go. And then we'll get into all the wordage down here in the actual reading. But yeah, we got your Tektite crystal there for pile number one. For pile number two, we have third eye chakra with the blue Sodalite crystal. Looks pretty cool. Can't super tell on there, but it's got like these cracks that go through it in here of the lighter blue in there. That's what that is. And then for pile number three, we have the solar plexus chakra with yellow tiger's eye. Love some Tigereye. And the yellow Tigereye looks pretty cool there. Yeah, very nice, very nice. All right. So those are going to be our piles. I'll hold them up for you so you can take a moment, sit with each of them individually. We got pile one, two, and then three. So see which one you feel drawn to the most, and then you can go ahead and check out the timestamps down below in the description if you want to just go ahead and jump right into your reading. All right, let's do this. Hi there, Pile One. If you chose the Tektite crystal here with the Earth chakra, then this is going to be your reading. Um, First of all, let's go ahead and read what's on this card here. Maybe give you a bit more of an idea if this is for you. If so it's going to give us a breakdown of the physical and emotional qualities of this crystal. So you can kind of use that to see if like there's something in there that you're kind of dealing with or might resonate for you, then you can kind of use this as a little bit of an energy check to see if this is actually going to be your reading. So let's start off here. So underneath the tektite, it says interstellar. So probably a pretty stellar person. um, uh, we also got the physical qualities here. It says it's calming, protective, brings stability, clears blockages in lower chakras, strengthens aura for improved immunity, helps access the root causes of illnesses to support healing, heightens vibration to accelerate the healing process. So it sounds like if you're really like focusing on getting down into that root cause of any sort of issues that you're dealing with, some Tektite crystal might be for you. The emotional qualities here for it are it's high frequency, it brings consciousness of new dimensions of reality, supports lucid dream work, past life recall, telepathy, and astral travel, heightens psychic and mental abilities, connects with spirit guides and alien beings. And then the little affirmation. So it sounds like yeah, you're somebody who either wants to dive deeper into some of these esoteric concepts, or you're somebody who's already into that type of stuff and maybe want to dive a little deeper in that. Especially since this is with our Earth chakra. That's the chakra that's actually below our root chakra, which connects us with like the energies of the earth and stuff. So it can be maybe you kind of want to explore this stuff in a very grounded way, as to not get too up in the air about it, if that makes sense. So there's an affirmation down here underneath that we can use, even if. So if this type of stuff seems like something you want, but you don't exactly have access to getting this crystal, or just don't want to get it, or whatever the reason may be, um, you can at least use this affirmation, or if you do have this crystal, you can use this affirmation with the crystal to kind of help amplify this stuff here. Um, and it says, I am beyond mind. I am beyond body, mind, and emotion. So, yes, these are things that we have: body, mind, and emotion. But we are beings that are beyond that, So, a little bit of a reminder for us in that way. Cool. So, let's go ahead and get some cards from our Dragon Oracle deck here and see what wants to come out here. So, spirit, any beings that are in alignment with the highest and greatest good of all. If you want to go ahead and give us whatever messages pile number 1 needs to hear, what wants to come out here. So if you want, you can set your attention here that only messages that you need to hear will come through for you. We'll see what happens. We'll get this for like main big energy here, like the overall energy for us, and then we'll dive deeper in there with tarot. See what we got. Anything wants to come out? Oh, there we go. Oh, okay. We got 3 that came out pretty quickly here. So we got you, and you. Okay. Interesting. Righty. Move some stuff out of the way here, and then so we got the Magus in reverse here. We got the Power card here, and we got the Lunar Dragon in reverse as well. So I mean, immediately when I'm seeing these, it makes me think that especially with our Tektite crystal here, makes me think that you're probably somebody who has had trouble with like dealing with your emotions and stuff. Seeing like, I don't know, you've probably been through a lot of stuff and have and maybe not, I don't know, maybe feel like there's something bigger out there, and maybe you're just starting to get into this type of stuff. And the thing that's kind of drawing you into this stuff is kind of that lack of connection to our emotional body, maybe. The Lunar Dragon is all about like our emotions and stuff. It's the Moon card, which kind of rules our emotions in a way. And it's in reverse, so that means that either we're disconnected with our emotions or we're just like having trouble with something emotional here. And then the Magus in reverse makes me feel like, we're feeling pretty disempowered here. And like you're not that magician. But we do have the Power card here as well, which is like the strength. So maybe we're feeling like we're pretty strong, but maybe there's just a little bit more that we're looking for here. But let's get some tarot out so we can actually get some better clarity here. So, spirit, beings of highest unconditional love and light. What could you clarify the Magus in reverse here for us? See what wants to come out for us here. I mean, I'm really feeling like we're just not feeling empowered in this way, or maybe we just don't know a lot about all this type of stuff. Like maybe you're just coming to tarot and just starting to get into like crystals or all this stuff. Maybe you're somebody who hasn't really who hasn't really been into this stuff before, but you've kind of, it feels like you kind of are doing everything else in your life to like you're working on everything else in your life, hence this like strength card still being here. Like you're a pretty strong person and you've been dealing with everything in the ways that you can, but maybe you feel like there's maybe a bigger thing here for you. um Interesting. Yeah, I mean, like, maybe sounds like you're definitely like starting a new journey here. We got the Fool card that came out, which is all about, taking that leap of faith, starting a new journey. Really, diving into that stuff. Interesting. Had 3 cards popped out, and just got stuck in my chair sideways, which is interesting. So we have 3 of Cups in reverse. We got 2 of Pentacles here, and the 6 of Wands. I mean, 2 of Pentacles is about like sort of balance, especially like in the physical. So maybe we felt pretty balanced in the physical, but we got 3 of Cups here. So maybe we're a little tentative about this going on this journey here. We've uh, there's kind of like there's kind of a weird duality here. Is there anything else that wants to come through, Spirit, for the Magus card here? No? Okay. Okay, can we get some clarity on the power card here? What's that? Okay. Okay. What's that? Swords. And maybe like you're not necessarily in a poor place with your emotions. I mean, we have the King of Cups coming out in the upright for underneath the power card, so it seems like we do understand our emotions on a pretty good level here, potentially. But like maybe we're just kind of curious about these new things. I don't know. I'm really getting an energy of like we're starting to like explore these concepts that maybe we wouldn't have let ourselves explore in the past, or like really believe in the past, maybe. Let's see here. Anything else that wants to come through for the power card? Yes. 10 of Wands and 4 of Cups. Okay. And then anything for the Lunar Dragon in reverse here, sir? Could we clarify that? Try and get a bit, before we really dive in here, try and get a little bit better of an idea of everything going on overall for you. Anything else that comes through for that Lunar Dragon? Should clarify that. Oh, okay. Interesting. Anything else here? Okay. Interesting. So, I mean, I do feel like we really are like starting this new journey, probably with these sort of concepts here. Maybe this is the first time that you've seen a tarot reading or done a tarot reading, or maybe you've just kind of started to get into this stuff. Maybe you're just kind of getting curious about this. Um, because I mean, with the Fool underneath the magus here, it really feels like we're starting this journey into this stuff, and we're just kind of like we feel like there's something here, but we're not really sure what's going on with it. We're not even sure if we really even necessarily believe in this type of stuff. Well, I mean, you don't have to believe any of this stuff. I personally, I just feel like um, tarot cards here help us kind of divine things and sort of see things from a different picture. If you can, like, just look at the meanings of the different cards here, can kind of give us an idea. I don't know. If you are curious about this stuff, I do recommend you do your own sort of research. It's kind of like it's kind of fun to just kind of go and see what comes up, you know. But I will say here, we are maybe like trying to figure out how to maybe balance our life in a little bit different of a way, and maybe we're a little dissatisfied with the way our life has been lately. Um, And I mean, we have the Six of Wands in reverse here, which is the Six of Wands in the upright is all about victory and stuff. So maybe we're feeling like we're not really quite getting the victory. There's just something that we're missing here, right? We even have like the Eight of Swords in reverse, so it feels like maybe we've felt trapped in life and stuff, and maybe we're just kind of starting to explore some of this stuff, and it's making us feel less trapped, which is maybe part of the draw for you to come to tarot and astrology or uh, crystals and all this sort of esoteric stuff. With the Three of Cups in reverse, I want to take a look at what that specifically means because I'm still familiarizing myself with this stuff. Um, So yeah, this talks about like overindulgence, unfaithfulness, stifled creativity, and disconnection. Um, so maybe you've kind of felt like disconnected from like some part of yourself within. Maybe you've been dealing with some energies of overindulgence, and you're thinking or feeling like this type of stuff might help you out, and I'm here to say it probably will. I mean, I feel like it's helped me out a lot with that type of energy. I used to be very overindulgent about a lot of things, and I still am kind of overindulgent about some things, but I'm working on that. We're all healing. um, and then we also have the Seven of Pentacles in reverse here. And that talks about some failure. Maybe you have some mistrust with this type of stuff. Um, Maybe like you just you maybe this is kind of like you want to believe sort of this stuff, but like you're coming from a really practical perspective of things, and like maybe there's part of you that's like it makes it really hard to like really understand or trust this sort of stuff because you don't want to like end up being one of those woo woo people, you know. But I like to think that I'm not necessarily like one of those woo woo people. I just feel like I've gotten a lot of deep insight about myself through this type of stuff. I mean, I've watched tarot readings on YouTube for a good minute now, um, and I feel like they've kind of offered like a good insight into myself at the very least, you know, and that has shifted and changed my own like healing journey within myself in such a deep way that like I feel very connected to this stuff. And I mean, ultimately, like the concepts here are like really it's about what you believe. Like if you believe that it works for you, then it'll work for you, you know. I think that there's a you're probably somebody who tries to think of everything in a logical and practical way, right? And I try to do. I used to be like that. Like I really seriously never would have thought that I would have been into tarot or crystals or anything like that. I used to kind of think it was silly, ridiculous. I mean, I liked rocks and stuff. I thought they were cool, but I didn't like necessarily believe in like their healing properties or like anything like that. I just thought that they looked cool. But I don't know. I feel like I feel like it's more fun to just try to open yourself up in this sort of way. Getting into this stuff has really allowed me to like let my inner child just kind of have fun with certain things and like be more imaginative in this sort of way. So maybe you're kind of feeling that, and maybe that's something that's kind of drawing you in this direction here. Especially with the Fool card. I mean, the Fool card here is all about like it's this young man like literally standing on a cliff edge, just like not caring, like taking that leap of faith, you know. And then this white flower, you can't really see it super well in there, but there's a white flower on his vest there, and that's like supposed to symbolize like innocence, purity, like naivety almost. So there's kind of that energy of like uh, just that like childlike joy and wonder of like certain things. Like maybe you are kind of in a space where you're a little bit more willing to accept these sort of ideas, more so than you would have been in the past, at least. So then with the power card here, which is in alignment, which is the strength card and major arcana of tarot and all that. But the strength card all talks about like how it's like inner strength. It's like how can I explain this? Here, I think the best way I could do this is I'm gonna read the thing that in this little booklet, and it'll probably give you a little bit better of an idea. Oh, this isn't the strength card, right? The power card is actually all about the emperor, isn't it? Yeah, yeah, it's the emperor card, which is a bit different. Emperor energy is like us standing in our power. It's that divine masculine energy here, um, and kind of like just like standing in your power and like advocating for yourself, action oriented, and like doing certain things. So what it says here for the commentary is the power dragon stands as both leader and protector. He holds a golden ball as a sign of his authority and a lance as a sign of his power. Fearlessly, he stands and calls us into battle, motivating us to achieve greatness beyond our imaginings. Have faith that everything is happening exactly as it is meant to happen, and that you have the will to be able to see things through to a positive conclusion. So maybe like we kind of feel like we are this emperor in our life, like we are able to really like stand and do the things that we need to do in our life very effectively. But maybe there's just like more this disconnection with our emotional body here. That kind of and like this disconnection with like this softer feminine side to us that might be more accepting of certain things. You know, like I don't know, because to clarify this, we have the Four of Cups here, which is about meditation, contemplation, and we have the Ten of Wands here too. So this feels like maybe we've been, or maybe we're feeling a little bit more like we're able to use this sort of masculine energy to kind of understand this stuff in a little bit deeper of a way and kind of connect with our feminine side a little bit more, with our emotional sides a little bit more here. And through doing this through like sitting in meditation and contemplation, maybe we are like there's some concepts with these esoteric stuff that we are into and we do try to do and we have seen benefits from, so maybe that's kind of opening our minds a little bit to the idea of some of this other stuff here, which is really cool stuff. It's a really fun place to be. You can explore and do a lot of fun stuff in that. And sorry, I have this like weird nervous energy here. So I don't know if that's like if that's me or if that's coming from you. If that's like maybe you're feeling nervous about getting into all this stuff. Like, what does that mean about me? Maybe you're kind of questioning a lot of things that you may have previously believed about yourself or about certain things or about certain people who may have believed this type of stuff before. But maybe you're starting to really question that, like, well, is that true? Is that false? Like, I don't know. Um, And it feels like we maybe want to sit in this King of Cups energy. Like this is where we want to be with all of this, and we're seeing that we're maybe not quite like this in certain parts of our lives, and we or maybe we are feeling like this, but we feel like there's deeper, there's more there, and we are kind of trying to achieve that. We also have this Knight of Swords in reverse, which I want to take a look at, which talks about weak, unreliable, impatient, disorganized. Which maybe that's kind of the energy that um, we're trying to work through here with this. Maybe this is like the way that we've thought about certain these types of concepts before in the past. Um, like these types of people are unreliable, impatient, disorganized. Just kind of have messy lives, whatever. And you don't want to necessarily be in that energy. And I'm saying like that's not. If that is something that you believe, I'd like to challenge that belief because that's not necessarily true here. Um, like seriously, that's not what we're that's not the idea here. Like, there's definitely a lot of people who will put this type of stuff on too much of a pedestal and think like, oh, since I believe this stuff, that means that I can do whatever the fuck I want and live life in whatever way I want. But that's not necessarily true. I think that this stuff can be a really useful tool to help us understand some things that may be a little hard to wrap our brains around with the way things tend to be presented in current society and stuff. And like I don't know, there's a lot of resources out there, but it can be really hard to kind of verbalize a lot of the like things and coincidences and stuff that tends to happen in life. And if you're somebody who maybe you grew up around religion and you don't really believe that type of stuff, but you do believe that there's something bigger out there, or like you've just seen some weird coincidences happen in your life. And I mean, uh, ultimately, I don't believe that there are. Technically, I don't believe that there's any coincidences, but these coincidences can really make us feel like there's something bigger going on. So I feel like this is kind of the reason that we're trying to explore this stuff, which is a beautiful thing. And I think that it's really cool. I think that there's going to be a lot of stuff in this sort of esoteric world for you. And I just want to say, like, don't put the pressure on yourself to try and like that you have to be a certain way with this. Like, really take these concepts and things and make them fit for you. Like, you don't have to become this like spiritual guru or blah blah blah. Like that. Honestly, that's oftentimes people going kind of swinging the opposite way with the pendulum. Um, I feel like this stuff can really enrich our lives and make ourselves like understand things in a little bit deeper of a way. And but there's a lot of people, a lot of stuff out there that like can really make you feel like, oh, you have to be this certain type of way to actually get something out of it, which is not at all true. And you don't have to be like this big spiritual guru or anything like that to get into spirituality or anything like that. You can just kind of gain some I don't know, just make it fit for you. Like that's funny. Um Not necessarily make it fit for you, but like take these concepts and like see what actually really works for you, what you actually do believe in. I mean, really explore this stuff is what I'm trying to get at. And with the lunar dragon in reverse here, we have quite a bit of uh reversed energy here. Um but we have, which I guess I should say, like, if you are somebody new to this, the reverse doesn't necessarily mean bad or anything. It just means like these cards have certain meanings when they're upright, and then kind of flips them to the opposite when they're reversed. which because each card kind of means different types of things. I'm not necessarily the best person to explain all this stuff. I understand it, but actually explaining it to somebody else is a little bit more difficult for me. So, um, yeah, and I'm still learning a lot of this stuff too. So, but what the Seven of Swords is usually a deceptive energy. So maybe we are feeling like emotionally we can be deceiving ourselves sometimes. If this is clarifying our emotional self, like maybe like with the lunar dragon being in reverse, and then also having this like the truth and like kind of taking all this deceptive energy here. It feels like maybe we don't want to be deceptive to ourselves and to our emotional body or to ourselves anymore. Maybe we felt like we have been a lot, but maybe going down this path can help us see things in a little bit more of a truthful light. That's how I've kind of gotten a lot out of this, is like just using it as a way to like see myself more clearly and with honesty. Like if and like really like see if something actually resonates with me. And that's kind of like the whole reason that I like doing this stuff, because it allows the person, it empowers you to really decide for yourself if this makes sense for you, if this is fits for you, if you're in this place, you know. And if it is, then you can kind of see like, oh well, if this fits, then like maybe this sort of thing fits, and like it can really help us connect with our inner guidance system. And that's ultimately what the goal is here, is to connect you with your inner guidance system and really like solidify your inner intuition and help you listen to your heart a little bit more and your gut a little bit more, and all the little like you listen to your body, because like there's some really good and deep wisdom that's within ourselves that a lot of us are really disconnected with nowadays, you know. And that's a it's just feels like such a shame, because there is so much beautiful wisdom and empowerment that can be in this sort of stuff if you let it be that for you. And there's kind of like this, like maybe we're kind of taking our mask off now, um, and like especially with our emotional body, maybe we have been. It really feels like we have been kind of deceptive with ourselves in the past, and we don't want to do that anymore. So we want to like be in that sort of energy. And then we also have the Two of Wands and the Nine of Cups in reverse here, which I want to take a look at real quick, because I'm not 100% sure with the reversals what we're talking about here, because the Two of Wands is usually about like, oh, we're gonna go and we're excited about this journey, blah blah blah. So okay, overconfident, stunted, undetermined, blocked. So yeah, maybe we've felt pretty stunted emotionally here, kind of uh, undetermined a little bit here, and then with the Nine of Cups. Um, Maybe we've been a little disappointed in the past with a lot of stuff, especially maybe we've been really disappointed with um like society as a whole, and we're a little tired of that, or when you know, maybe internally we are feeling a little tired with that stuff, um just because like I mean it sucks to feel like society sucks, you know. And I think that the best way to change society or change things, if you want to see things be different, is you have to first look within yourself and change what's within yourself that you may not like, you know. And hopefully this type of stuff could really help you out with that process here. Maybe this is something that you've also done quite a bit here, but maybe you're looking for just a little bit deeper of a look within that stuff. I'm not really sure. I mean, we also have the Queen of Pentacles here, which I always forget some of these. Yeah, I feel like we're really looking for this like prosperity feeling, this pleasure, security, and stuff. And I feel like we haven't had that a lot in the past. But we really want to find this type of stuff. And um, maybe there's just like a little bit of a lack of confidence here in general. Um, when it comes to, I mean, our emotional body, with ourselves here, um, or with our own internal, like what we feel is happening inside of us or might be true for ourselves. And hopefully, going down this journey will really help you out, help you suss out those things, really help build your discernment and help you like align with yourself. And ultimately that's kind of the goal, right? Is to align with our inner source here, which is cool. Kind of a weird reading. I hope that you got something out of this. I do feel called to grab um, one more card here from our Getting into the Vortex deck by Esther and Jerry Hicks. And if this is like something that you're really struggling with, you really like aren't sure um, like how to even suss this type of stuff out, doing some listening to some of the Esther and Jerry Hicks channels and stuff, it can really give you some good insight on a lot of that here. They do great work. I love it. They talk a lot about like getting into alignment with your source, stepping into your vortex, and kind of like that process of deciding what you do and don't kind of believe and connect with, what sets you up with like the positive thinking versus the negative thinking, and really doing that inner work here. So the card that we got is number 33 here. So maybe threes are significant to you in some way. It says, I can find harmony by feeling for improved thoughts. Um, so I feel like this is kind of going to be really prevalent for us in this way. So it says, if we were contemplating an action that caused negative emotion, we would not proceed with the action until we had resolved the negative emotion. We would make sure that we had come into alignment with source before proceeding. By feeling for the improved thought in time and usually in a short time, you will feel the harmony of your source, and you will know the appropriateness of your behavior. We would not look for the long list of right and wrong, but instead we would feel for the emotion of alignment with source. So maybe that's kind of where we need to focus our attention, is like what sort of things and concepts here make us feel the most alignment internally with our source, and what makes us feel, basically what makes us feel good, you know? That's kind of the idea here, at least. Yeah. I don't I don't know. I feel like there's more to say here, more to do. But if you're really struggling with this stuff, really maybe grab some Tektite. If you believe so, it might help you. And ultimately, what I want to say is like your belief really has a lot of power here. What you do believe in has a lot of power here. And if you let yourself believe in certain things, in the way that certain things work, it can really help you out. And I feel like there's just a big call to like look at where our beliefs lie and like see what feels good to believe and what doesn't feel good to believe in, you know. um Very much that what's in alignment here, with our source, what makes us feel that like harmony, feeling peace, love, joy, those good feelings that we want to feel. um Hopefully you got something out of this. This is a really kind of weird and messy reading here, so I do hope you got something out of this. If you did, you can let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear that, especially for this one. 'Cause, yeah, really don't really hope this resonated for somebody out there. It's kind of very fascinating. Maybe there's just been a lot of doubt in general, and that's kind of where a lot of this energy is coming from. But either way, if you got something out of this and you want to show your appreciation, you can leave a like down below. And you can also subscribe if you want to follow me along with this journey of learning how to do tarot and doing it on the internet and all that fun stuff. So, yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day or night whenever you're watching this. All right. Thanks. Love you. Bye. Hi there, pile number 2. If you chose this blue Sodalite crystal, then this is going to be your reading. Yeah, so let's go ahead. I want to read the actual thing for this card here, and then we'll go ahead and get into it and dive deeper into whatever message it is you are meant to hear at this point in time. Now, remember, these are timeless messages, so whenever you're watching this, doesn't have to be nearby when I post this. Just whenever. Hopefully, it applies to you in the moment. All right, cool. So, with the blue Sodalite here, it says it's grounded intuition. So there's kind of a big energy here in general, kind of like trying to come at our intuition and this sort of stuff in a grounded way. So if that sounds like that's you, then maybe this is your reading. So physical qualities for this crystal are it supports healing with mental disorders, calms panic attacks and mania, cools fevers, treats calcium deficiencies, addresses metabolic imbalance, digestive disorders, and issues with the throat and vocal cords, supports potassium and sodium absorption. So these are things that you maybe are struggling with or want some more support in, then you can pick up some blue Sodalite, might help you out here. We also got the emotional qualities, which it combines energies from the earth and with the third eye awareness for grounded, psychic, mental, and emotional wisdom, enhances rationality and deep thought, provides an emotional anchor, and supports one's ability to live authentically. Pretty cool stuff. And then there's an affirmation here in the bottom that we can use even if we don't have this crystal or don't have the means to pick it up, whatever. It says, I am one with the earth and sky. We can also use that with the crystal to kind of help amplify it in some ways. So very cool, very cool. Let's go ahead and grab some. We're going to use this Dragon Oracle deck here to grab some big general energies for us, and then we'll use the tarot to get some clarity and see what messages want to come through. So spirit beings of highest level of unconditional love and light. What kind of messages does pile number 2 need to hear? Okay, anything else? Okay, we'll take those. And then we'll take a look here and see what other stuff, if we can clarify these guys. We'll start off with the fertility here. What are you? What are you? What are you? Okay. Anything else for this? Okay. It's probably something we're working pretty hard on. Maybe this is we're feeling very creative and fertile at this moment in time. We did have the fertility card, which I mean, you know, it literally says fertility. Okay. Interesting. That's too many. I don't want to take all of those. Anything else? Anything else? There it is. Okay. And then there. Okay. And then what about this mercy card? Spirit could be mercy in reverse. So I'm not really sure which card mercy is supposed to be with. Definitely gonna have to take a look in the booklet a little bit here, see what we got. Okay, but there's a bit of a fighting energy here. Maybe we're fighting internally with ourselves, or we're fighting with others. Feel like we are. Yeah, so we have the Three of Cups in reverse here as well. So yeah, maybe we are kind of fighting with others here. Page of Swords. Got a interesting. Okay. That's way too many. But it was sandwiched with the Emperor card here. Is that like? Okay. What about the Solitaire card? What do we got for that, Spirit? This guy wants to come out. This guy. I mean, the Solitaire is the Hermit, I believe. But it's in reverse, so maybe we're kind of stepping out of a Hermit mode here. Yeah, okay. Anything else? Okay. All right. Thank you for bearing with me while we get these cards out. So, let's see. Interesting energy here. For sure, these guys all came out together, so we'll put those together. So let's start off, actually, I want to kind of read the meanings for our big major dragon cards here so that we can kind of get a better idea of what our overall energy is, and then we'll dive deeper in with the tarot in a moment here. So starting off with the fertility that came out. It's the Empress with the major arcana in the normal tarot deck. So, but this is in an oracle way, so whatever. Kind of gives the energy of abundance, the abundance of Mother Nature, fruitfulness, fertility, right? The commentary here says, bountiful Earth Mother springs forth from even the most barren of ground, and with time will turn it back to rich, fertile land. She is filled with the hope, love, and joy, and uses these energies to bring new opportunities through the union of opposite and sometimes contradictory forces. She brings abundance from all in its forms, from simply having food on your table every day to possessing the resources to bring your dreams into reality. So yeah, maybe we're sitting in a really fertile time right now, where we're like almost in this cosmic womb of creation. I don't know. If you know the community, then you know the reference. Yeah, and if you do, then leave a comment down below. I love some friends who understand my reference. Um, but the meaning here also says this is a time pregnant with possibilities when great things can be accomplished. Follow your natural instincts, look to Mother Nature for inspiration, and you will know when to sow and when to harvest. This faith applies not only to external ventures, but to inner spiritual work also. You can make progress on your path if you align yourself to the energies of the land you live upon. So yeah, maybe this is kind of like a time where we're starting to get in touch with like the natural rhythms of the earth. If you're a woman, maybe you're kind of getting in touch with your cycle and stuff. I don't know a ton of that because obviously I'm not a woman. However, if you are, I'm sure that's very good thing for you. I bet that it feels good to kind of get in touch with that type of stuff. Maybe even with like the moon cycles and stuff too. There's lots of cycles, in nature and stuff. Like right now, when I'm making this is kind of the winter time, so maybe we're kind of in general starting to get in touch with like the natural cycles that are in going on in nature and stuff as well. Even if you're a man, that can apply to you. Like, take it as it fits, right? And then with the Mercy card here, let's get that. So the Mercy is the Hierophant, with normal right away major arcana tarot, and that is about spiritual wisdom. The keyword meaning it says in here is compassion. And then in the reverse, it says, be wary of decisions and actions based on weak morals. Acts of generosity driven by guilt, lack of real value, by guilt, lack real value, and may be rooted in clouded desires. Stop and ask yourself what lies behind your decisions and your judgment of others. It is only through the development of morals and spiritual practices that the soul can find fulfillment. So yeah, maybe there's kind of this idea, like this feeling like maybe we're acting a lot out of guilt right now, which is definitely something to look at here. Feel like I'm kind of doing this a little bit here because I feel like some of these messages might be really important for some people, and I've kind of I took a couple days off there and was feeling kind of guilty for not doing this, but I guess that's where I need to look at, like, where I'm acting a little bit in guilt too here. So if you're not alone if you're feeling that, if that felt like it resonated. We also got solitaire here in reverse, which I'll take a look at here and read our reverse meaning for us. Says loneliness comes about when we cannot communicate on the same level as those energies that surround us. This can come from the deception and self-delusion, from a failure to grow up or an unwillingness to face the truth. Impatience only worsens when the problem because the spiral of creation needs to turn at its own pace for there to be change of perspective. So yeah, I think there's a big call here. Like, maybe we've felt a little impatient with the way things are moving right now. Maybe we feel like things really should be moving a little bit faster. Maybe we've been really patient with stuff in the past, and we really want to just see things like, come on, can it please keep going? So or like move a little bit quicker. Maybe we're seeing some more delays than we expected with certain things. And I think there's a call here to look at that and, like, why were we expecting things to come so quickly? Um, why are we still sitting in this impatient energy here? I feel like there's a big call to really, like, be more present with ourselves and with what's the natural cycles that need to kind of happen here. So let's dive a little bit deeper with our tarot cards. To clarify fertility, we have um, the Seven of Wands, the Queen of Pentacles, Eight of Pentacles, the Five of Pentacles, and then we got the Seven of Cups in reverse, kind of with it all as well. Now, perfect. Like, right now, I feel like the general message here is, like, we are standing in a very fertile time, and these energies of, like, impatience and um, feeling like we're not exactly doing the things that we necessarily need to do, or making decisions out of guilt and stuff, is going to be basically, these are distractions that are taking us away from the thing that we're trying to work on right now. Because I mean, we're working on something here that's really important to us, that it's probably going to bring in a lot of abundance for us, that we're really passionate about, right? So um and I think, like, while we're working on this stuff, maybe we're kind of doing it a little bit out of this fear, this fear mindset, this lack mindset that's going on. Um, and that is ultimately not going to be the energy that we want to be doing that in, right? We want this to be successful and to bring us the abundance that we so deserve. So I think there's a big call here to look at where we're being like, acting out of this fear mindset and this guilt, and try and address that stuff so that we're actually building something that will last, and give us this Queen of Pentacles feeling of, like, standing in our power and just, like, living in the abundance that we so rightly deserve just by existing. um and, like, maybe we're kind of, like, really battling these feelings right now. um try like I mean, it's pretty hard to deal with this stuff sometimes. It can be hard to even tell sometimes when we're acting out of that guilt. But I think there's a big call to just be honest with ourselves and, like, see where we are acting out of guilt in this way, and to not get discouraged in that process as well. Um, yeah, because the Seven of Cups in reverse. I want to take a look at that. Yeah, so, like, I think the big thing that pulls us away from that is, like, temptation, indecision, insecurity. Maybe there is, I think the insecurity specifically here is a big, like, probably the root cause of, well, this, like, feeling of guilt. Like, oh man, am I doing good enough here? I want to be doing so good. So, like, I want to be doing things good in a way for other people. So we can really start to feel that feeling of insecurity when it comes to this stuff. But I feel like there's a big call to be honest with ourselves and see like those places that we are acting in those sort of ways, there's some sort of underlying insecurity there that we need to look at, right? um, and try to address and work through in our own ways. Now, with that mercy card in reverse, kind of where we're acting in these spaces of guilt is going to be um, Five of Wands. I mean, maybe like we're feeling a little guilty because maybe we've been fighting with other people a little bit. Maybe there's kind of just been this like adversarial energy in general, and we're feeling kind of guilty about that. And maybe we feel like we've acted in some ways that we wouldn't necessarily act in the past. But I think that there's also, you know, there's a reason that we are addressing things a little bit differently now with other people if we've been fighting with other people and we have sort of stood up for ourselves in a certain way, you know. And maybe we feel a little bit bad for that, but ultimately I think there was honesty in that, you know. Anyway, we also have the Three of Cups in reverse here, which talks about more overindulgence. So maybe there like is a big idea of overindulgence here. Maybe we've been fighting with other people because we feel like they're overindulgent, or like maybe this is where this guilt is coming from. It feels like there's just this big energy of like too much investment in other people's stuff and other people's business, right? I think we need to really focus in on what our business is and like really make sure we're taking care of ourselves, because ultimately that's not our business. That's their own journey, and it can be very easy to like, especially if you're on this journey of like healing yourself and whatever, it can be very easy to want the same for other people. But if other people aren't really ready to do that or willing to do that, then we're just going to be wasting our energy basically. And it would be better spent on ourselves and further developing our own journey. And if other people ultimately like get something out of us doing that, then that's where the real change happens, is when we change within ourselves that sends ripples out to other people and inspires other people to make those changes in themselves. So I think that there's like a big call here to release whatever worry about other people here. And it feels like we may also feel a little there's like a big aspect of family that's coming through. And maybe we're feeling a little guilty because like maybe we've been fighting with family in general, and maybe like these other people have been people that we've been fighting with, it's family members, and it can be really hard, especially right now. Right now it's December, so it's the holiday time, and it can be very high pressure, high stress, whatever. So if you are watching this when I post this, or even like during the holiday time in general, maybe this is kind of an energy that you're feeling a lot of. And I mean, I think this is at least an opportunity for us to look at how we act in these scenarios and kind of like take a look within ourselves and see how we can maybe like let some of this stuff go and really have forgiveness for ourselves and for other people to release this stuff and not hold on to so much stuff so tightly. I mean, we have the Page of Swords in reverse, which I really want to look at here. Let's see, Page of Swords in reverse. Yeah, it's the energy of irritability. We're feeling hasty, annoying, maybe doubtful. And I feel like this kind of exacerbates all these issues, right? Or these issues make us feel these sort of ways, which I feel like this is kind of just confirmation of that message here. And then for the Solitaire in reverse, or the Hermit in reverse, we have Hierophant in reverse, Judgment in reverse. So it feels like these types of things are really, or maybe we're kind of what was it that it said here? Hold on. Yeah, so maybe we're feeling like we can't communicate with other people, like just other people are really just getting on our nerves a lot here, and this is putting us in this energy of like really being self-critical of ourselves, really like feeling like we're just not even we're just not because like the Hierophant, we're feeling like we're not like maybe there's like some sort of idea of like the like especially if you're really into this sort of esoteric stuff, it could be really easy to feel like, oh, but I'm supposed to be like this the bigger person here, blah blah blah, and like maybe some of these situations are putting us in an energy where it's like, fuck that, I don't want to be the higher person anymore. It can be really easy to step into that energy, and I feel like that can give us a lot of guilt about certain things, and I think that's exactly what we need to look at right now is like, are these ways that I want to even approach things, like how do I actually want to interact here with my family or with whoever's making you feel this irritability. And I feel like through that we'll find this like Nine of Wands energy where it's like, okay, I know what's going on here. I know how to handle this sort of stuff. And especially with the holidays coming up, this can be a really like important thing to address. Like if we do have obligations with our family members and stuff, like maybe there's, if we've had sort of poor, if we've had not fun times with them in the past, maybe looking at this and deciding for ourselves how we want to interact with our family members as the holidays come up will probably be very helpful for us, and maybe even put us in like this Ace of Swords energy with Two of Wands, like really really ready to like put ourselves out there. And like I think this process will give us more encouragement to go out and interact with other people, and like build these friendships and put ourselves in a better energy here. So yeah, I think right now we're sitting in this like, we don't want to contemplate, we don't want to think about this stuff, we don't even want to approach this stuff, but I think there's a big opportunity here for us to really work on ourselves in this way, and like look at how we want to interact with our with whoever it is that's making you feel this irritability or this these negative emotions that's causing all this guilt, and really like getting in the way of what we're working on here, um, because right now is a very fertile time for us. So I feel like this is kind of the message that's trying to come through for you is, look at where you feel these negative emotions with other people, and look at how you want to interact with them in maybe a little bit different of a way, how you want to shift the ways that you do interact with these people in a way that's healthy for you and doesn't make you give too much of yourself, which is where that irritability can really come from a lot of the times. How we can set our boundaries and live in our boundaries, but still, um, but not be like so harsh and like beat up on these other people, if that makes sense, because we don't want to hurt anyone else through this process. But the ultimate thing here is like, we're trying to protect ourselves, we're trying to make sure like we're taken care of, and if we can open up in an honest way and advocate for ourselves in an honest way, maybe that'll help shift some things in these dynamics that will make us feel better in general with these people, or at least show where we need to like step away, or help us see where we need to take care of ourselves more, and in a way that doesn't intentionally hurt other people, right? We don't want to do that because that's just going to cause guilt and get in the way of ourselves, and we don't want that. So yeah, I hope that's gotten or done something for you. I hope that that's resonated for you. If it has resonated, you can go ahead and leave a like, or let me know down in the comments. And if you want to join me with this journey of doing tarot on the internet, that you can subscribe, turn the notification bell on if you want to be notified of any future uploads I do. And yeah, I wish you all the luck on your journey here, especially with the holidays coming up and everything. It could be a very stressful time, but do take that time to just rest, relax, take care of yourself, and yeah, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day or night whenever you're watching this, okay? Thanks. Love you. Bye. Hello there, pile number 3. If you chose the yellow Tigereye crystal here, then this is going to be your reading. So first of all, maybe focus on our solar plexus at all. I feel like that might be something you're working on. And then we're going to read this here, and if it feels like this is kind of stuff that you're having issues with, this is hopefully your reading. So yeah, let's see what we got. Yellow Tigereye here says willpower, so maybe there's a focus on our willpower here. The physical qualities here are: it brings physical strength, connects with earth energy to provide grounding, strengthens activity in soft tissue, stomach, liver, pancreas, and spleen, calms and strengthens the physical and subtle nervous system, treats issues on the spinal column. And the emotional qualities here: it offers protection, supports personal empowerment, willpower, courage, self-confidence, and mental focus, stabilizes mood fluctuations, protects from emotional manipulation or personal attacks, can be used with issues related to borderline personality disorder. So again, if any of that sounds like it's something that you're kind of trying to work through, picking up some yellow tigers on might help you out. There's also an affirmation here we can use just in general. At the bottom it says, "I resist all emotional manipulation." So pretty good one to have in general here, especially if you're kind of finding this reading. You're probably a little bit more of an emotionally aware person, or you love your emotions. You might find that you do get manipulated a little bit, so just even using that affirmation might help you out. So let's hop into our message here. So I use the Dragon Oracle here to get us some big overarching energy. And the cards that came out for you are, we got Fertility in reverse, we have Balance in reverse, if I can pick it up, and then we also have Solitaire in the upright. So take a moment. I do want to read the actual meanings that's in the booklet here for you, because it provides some good insight for us. So we have Fertility in the reverse, which Fertility is the Empress card if you're curious. It means indecision comes when you dwell on a contradiction. One part of you deeply wants to trust what you intuitively know, while another part of you fears the unknown. Feel the fear, but don't believe in it. Worry and anxiety are no more than projections of your past into your future. It is only through letting the past go and being fully present that we can create a bountiful new life. So maybe we're feeling a lot of this worry energy, worry and anxiety energy here. It can be a stressful time whenever you're watching this, so take whatever resonates. This is a timeless message here. I will say, if there's a little bit of that worry and anxiety coming from sort of the holiday times, we did talk about that a little bit in pile number 2. So if you feel called to it all, you might want to go and check that out. But you don't have to. We also got the balance in reverse here, which says, which balances judgment, right? Justice. yeah, Anyway, we got beware of biased or closed-minded opinions in others and in yourself. The closed mind refuses to acknowledge the truth and is lost in a world of illusion. Thoughtless acts will bring disaster if not balanced with sincere apologies. Every thought, word, and action is a seed you have sown. Your greatest challenge is to find and maintain inner peace. So maybe we're kind of struggling with finding and maintaining that inner peace within us, and that we would need to look at where we're being closed-minded and refusing to acknowledge some sort of truth going on. Maybe there's some illusions and stuff that we're believing in, so maybe that's something that we need to look at currently, or maybe this is just the type of energy that we're kind of dealing with right now. So then we also have the Solitaire card here, which we'll take a look at as well. And the solitaire card is about the hermit, so maybe we're in this hermit energy a little bit, just kind of secluding, isolating a little bit. Um, Looking inward too. So the meaning here says sometimes we need to step back from a situation in order to understand its meaning in our lives. It is only by separating ourselves from the energies of those around us that we find that quiet and still space where our inner voice can be heard and understood. Situations only appear to be problems because we do not see the solution. Knowledge of the inner self is the key that unlocks solutions and allows conscious awareness to the surface. So yeah, if you're having trouble with whatever the situation, this really sounds like there's some sort of uh, situation here going on for you, where like you need to take a step back and kind of look at where like the illusions are, look inward, kind of discern like where being a little closed-minded, maybe trying to like really figure out like the what's going on internally here, where we're being that close-minded and not seeing the solution here, or seeing like what's illusion, what's not illusion, that type of stuff here. So to clarify our fertility in reverse card here, maybe this is kind of what's causing us to feel like we're in this infertile time, or like things are really like not moving for us, that type of stuff. We have the Four of Swords, which talks about looking inward, contemplating, kind of sitting in meditation and stuff. Maybe this is kind of an energy that we're stepping into here. I think there's a big call here to really sit with ourselves and turn off all the distractions and stuff, and really sit with ourselves and really look at what's going on in our lives right now, or within ourselves. And I feel like this is going to lead us to this like creative energy where we're like starting to see things. The artist is a unique card to this tarot deck here, but it talks about like just being creative and spontaneous and impulsive, and seeing like where we can be a little bit more, have a little bit more fun in our lives, you know? So we also have tarot, or the tower in reverse. So maybe there was a tower moment going on here a little bit, or maybe we're feeling a little bit more stable right now, even in this infertility, in this infertile time. And this is the perfect moment for us to really take a look within ourselves and see what's going on, you know? Um, but maybe we're also feeling like things are slowing down for us, not really moving super quickly. But this is a good thing for us because it's going to help us really see what's going on in our minds, and be more confident within our own mind here. We've felt like a little bit of betrayal in the past or something, but we're really starting to work through that, especially through this process here. Maybe this is the process that's going to help us work through those feelings of betrayal, if that's what we're dealing with right now. And this ultimately is going to help us feel a little bit more ready to go out and face the world, you know? The world's a pretty tough place, so doing whatever we can to go and face that a little bit better is going to be very helpful for us. Um, Especially if we feel like we have been emotionally manipulated by other people. Doing this process is going to help us really work through that energy. It feels like this is kind of where we're at right now, is really working through that type of energy and stepping up and really empowering ourselves. And this is how we're going to do this, right? Is taking a look within ourselves in an honest and real way. And I hope this reading can help you do that. So we got the Three of Wands in reverse here, so underneath our balance in reverse as well. So maybe this is like this like energy of like maybe we're having trouble strategizing or planning things out for ourselves here, but this is sort of because of this imbalance that's going on within us. But we also have feel like a big way for us to kind of address this stuff is going to be to remember that is to this process, right, of looking within ourselves and doing this is going to put us in this sort of energy of like, this Knight of Swords here, where we're really confident in what's going on. We're might really help us make some decisions for ourselves here, that will bring us justice and make us feel strong and in our empowered state, and that can help us really kind of work with the people around us as well. Um, and then for the solitaire stuff, we have, yeah, I mean, interesting thing that came out for the solitaire was we have both the King of Wands and the King of Cups in reverse here. So like maybe we've really felt a little disempowered in some sort of situation, and this is kind of what's calling us to look inward here, take some time with ourselves, and uh, really reconcile with what is true, what's not true. Look at these illusions that's going on in our lives. And this process here, of course, is going to bring us, to that. Can't really show that, to this star energy here, and give us this Ace of Wands here. Really, like, give us that like empowered, like, okay, we can go out into the world, in an empowered way that's not going to make us feel like we're being mean to other people, or causing more issues, right? And that's going to really, I mean, there's just a lot of good energy here. I think this solitaire has a lot of good energy here, and it's through working through like our emotions and our like our energy, and like where we're putting our energy will take us from these reverse positions and make them upright and give us all this good positive energy that's really like begging to come through for you. Cool. Kind of, yeah, standing in that willpower and how we can use that willpower in our lives, to empower it, and rather than disempower it. Look at where we've maybe felt sort of fearful or separated from other people, and realize that everyone's going through their own shit, and sometimes it just takes sitting with yourself for a little bit to really see things from a little bit different of a perspective. There's a bit of a perspective shift that is happening here, and will happen a little bit better with some solid time with yourself. So yeah, pretty cool. Let's see, anything else? I'm feeling a little called to grab one of our Getting into the Vortex cards here from Esther and Jerry Hicks. If you know who those guys are, they probably know what we're going to be talking about with this. Yeah, very good stuff. But if you don't know who they are, you might want to look them up. They just talk about like getting in alignment with ourselves, with our source, and stepping into the vortex so that we can allow all the good things into our lives that we desire, So here, let's get a card here. Leave us with some interesting insight. Okay, we got, I'll envision the behavior I desire to inspire. And I think that's perfect confirmation here for the message we're talking about, simply because, like, that's exactly the idea here, right? We're sitting with ourselves and we want to envision the behavior that we desire to inspire. We want to put out into the world. How do we want to act when we go out into the world, and interact with other people? That way we can kind of be that change, that we want to see in the world. On the back here, it says, if we were a parent or anyone wanting to inspire positive behavior from another, we would do our personal vibrational work first. We would align with our source energy by envisioning the outcome we seek and by holding those involved as positive objects of our attention. We would not allow any current unwanted behavior to be the reason for our attention to them. So yeah, we don't want the poor ways that we behave to be the reason for us to be paying attention to somebody, right? We want to act in a way that is positive and brings that positivity back to us, right? Cool. Well, I hope you got something from this message here. This was a bit of an interesting energy in general for all this. If you feel called to it all, go check out pile number 2. There was a little bit of kind of dualistic energy in there. So if I think if there's probably a message in there for you if you feel called to. And if you got something out of this, then you can either leave a like down below and show your appreciation, or you can leave a comment as well. Tell me what resonated, what didn't resonate for you. That'd be pretty cool to hear. And yeah, thank you so much for watching again. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day or night whenever you're watching this. And you can subscribe too if you want to follow along with this journey, do all the things. Um, yeah, thank you so much. Love you. Hope you have a beautiful rest of your day or night. Okay, bye.